Hi, you cool cats. Kadrian here, the Sax Habit Coach, bringing you the best tips, tools, and ideas to help you as a beginner saxophone player develop the practice habits and routines to master your saxophone faster. Now, my purpose is to serve, motivate, and to inspire you. So if it's your first time here, consider subscribing and remember to turn on that notification bell so that you can be notified when I upload a new video here. Okay, it's really easier to practice than not to practice on your instrument on a daily basis. The how to practice is altogether another story that we will not discuss right now. Now, you may be saying, how can it be easier to practice than not to when every day I am struggling to pick up my horn? Well, I'd return the question, how hard is it to eat every day than not to eat? Now, note that you eating daily is not just about the fact that you get hungry. The habit loop has been wired in from when you were a child. Now, if your guardian had very poor feeding habits while you were a child, chances are you would have starved and you would not have been here right now. The major reason you are finding it so hard to practice daily has to do with your habits. Over time, you have formed the habit of procrastinating or doing things that don't require you to expend energy that guarantees rewarding results, thereby releasing much of the happy brain chemicals such as dopamine that actually makes you feel happy, but later you feel horrible because the whole day was spent on activities that makes you feel good in the moment, but later on you're disgusted with yourself because you did not practice on your horn. Now, of course, I've had tons of those days when I should have, would have, and could have practiced, but I didn't practice when I said I would. And by the way, every time you say to yourself that you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're actually lying to yourself. That's what we do. When we tell ourselves that we're going to do stuff and we don't do it, we become liars to ourselves. And like I heard Grant Cardone said, you have to get rid of the things that make you weak. Whatever it is that makes you weak, drinking too much, alcohol, staying up too late at night that causes you to feel physically and mentally drained, whatever it is, so what I do, I stay away from things that make me weak, like watching TV. Not only does the news depress me, but it contributes to me procrastinating, an issue I've had problem with over the years that stunted my personal and musical growth. So I don't own a TV, there's none in my house, and there's no plan of ever having one in my house. I want to be on TV, not watch TV. All right. Now, to make it easier to practice than not to practice, you start by forming new habits because your willpower will not work and motivation is only a starting point. Your habits are usually stronger. So how is it possible or easier to practice than not to practice? Now, according to the University College of London, they came out with a new study that shows that it takes 66 days to wire a new habit. So the old 21 days are not working anymore. That's why most people quit their New Year's resolutions after the new month wears off, because 1 month isn't enough for it to stick. So the first 22 days is known as the destruction stage. This is where it is very difficult to keep up with the new regime, the new routine, because your brain was wired to keep you safe and to keep you from trying anything that's new or difficult. The next 22 days or second stage is the installation stage. This is the middle or messy stage where you are halting between opinion of quitting or continuing. And during this period, your brain is playing all kinds of tricks on you. You find yourself saying things like, I don't need to be doing this, right? What am I trying to prove? I sound okay just the way I sound. No need to change that, right? And then the third and final stage, which is called the integration stage, is where things start to get easier for you. So it's no longer hard to practice daily because it's a habit that you have wired in over the course of 66 days. So really, if you follow this model, after 66 days, it is easier to practice than not to practice. And it's easier for you to start working on a new habit because practicing is no longer a chore or hard work. It's synonymous to blinking your eyes. No need to think about that, right? Now, having used this method over and over myself, it's very difficult for me not to wake up at 4:50 a.m. every day, regardless of the day of the week, regardless of the current world crisis. It's harder for me not to shave my face, exercise for at least 30 minutes, read from an actual book, and of course, practice on my saxophone on a daily basis. Now, another thing that I use to my advantage is also to keep my sax out of its case in a regular spot, a regular place where I practice daily. And so it's easier for me to pick up the sax at 2 p.m. to start practicing. Now, remember guys, all you need to do is to set your timer on your phone or a kitchen timer or something and just start for 5 minutes. Okay, because practicing now or not practicing will determine how you will sound 3, 6, 9, or 12 months from now. So make it easier to practice than not to, and you do it by turning it into a habit, into a routine. And friends, you won't regret it. Try it out for 66 days. Give it a shot. Try with 5 minutes each day, and then increase it to another 5, and then 10, and then 15 minutes. And then after 66 days, having wired in this new habit loop, it will be easier for you to practice than not to practice. As always, guys, push, play until something happens.